made our way to Merrist Wood to see what we could learn from some specialists there. So we're here to talk about palm oil today.
Okay.
I hear you're quite in love with the topic.
Not in love, slightly militant at just trying to expose it to as many people as possible.
Fine.
Through.
What can you tell me about palm oil?
Basically, it's an amazing product
Amazing
which
product.
you can get so many different things from. But as a result of that, it's being used and abused and turned Borneo into a monoculture, and therefore at the extent of, well, iconically, orangutans. But yeah, it's not just orangutans live there. There's so many different other species, but they're the face of it, and therefore I badger on about it.
Nice.
It also produces an income to impoverished communities. But there's a lot of people making a lot of money out of it, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of money going back into protecting the actual habitat itself. And the destruction of Borneo is phenomenal. And it's not just Borneo, it's all over Indonesia, and they're starting to plant it in other areas of the world. I believe it's starting to go into Africa, potentially South America now.
So what's a common misconception of palm oil that you might run into?
I don't know if it's a misconception, but I just don't think people really give a monkeys about it, unfortunately. Because, yeah, indeed, irony. The thing is, people are aware of such things, but I think there's an oversaturation of ecological issues going on in the world today. All like the pre-made foods. I mean, luckily most of the foods nowadays tend to be branded palm oil or palm fat or derivative, and then you've got sustainable palm oil,
which is different names that can come under.
Oh, it's phenomenal in the cosmetics.
Like palm kernel sulfate. It's the one they put on shampoos.
Yeah, sodium palmate glutamate and all those kind of things. Yeah, with conservation, I mean, it's you can't really do the barrier conservation anymore. You've got to try and build as many bridges as possible. Right. The way I think it's been handled okay-ish, but I think there's a huge amount of scope for corporate social responsibility.
Is all palm oil unsustainably farmed?
Well, because now you've got sustainable palm oil, but
But I mean, how far does, labelling something sustainable? So I saw one fact for it, and it said 75% of UK. So you've got the British weather playing very nicely here for us.
That's nice.
75% of palm oil that comes to the UK is sustainably harvested. Now that sounds like a good number, but to me that doesn't. Like, how are we still letting like a quarter of all the palm oil that comes in here allowed to be unsustainable?
Okay, well, because the sustainable stuff is coming to us, it's because there's a thirst for us wanting the sustainable stuff, so therefore we can kind of tick our, karma box in the shopping every week. But labelling sustainable is a label that the palm oil industry came up with themselves as a backlash to the fact that people were being educated to the problems of palm oil.
Let's move on and see if we can see what the public knows. We are now off to a supermarket to buy some products that contain palm oil and some that don't. I'm curious to see how many the public can figure out contain palm oil and how many don't. I'm hoping for good results. I'm hoping that exposure has increased and it's not as bad as I think, but this test will sure help us find out. So let's go. So, just pulled up to the supermarket and we're going to go find some palm oil products. Well, we've made it to the supermarket, so let's go get some products. Right, well, we've got our goods with the palm oil, so we're going to go see what the public knows. We've got an array of products here. I'd like to talk to you about palm oil for starters. Do you know what it is?
Yes.
Right, what would you say palm oil is?
I know that it's a bad thing and
it's a bad
it
thing.
shouldn't be produced as...
What do you think it is? Just anything?
It's an oil that is
oil?
contained in lots of
products.
everyday products.
So do you know how it's harvested?
I probably do in the back of my mind somewhere.
Probably do in the back of your mind. It's from the fruit palm oil trees give, and you get some from the fruit and some from the pips and seeds inside the fruit. Different products in front of you, right, from chocolates and some rice pudding.
Yep.
If you could try and split them up into yes, I think it contains palm oil, and no, I don't think it does.
Right. Yes, 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 yes.
Yep.
As does that.
Yep.
And that.
Yep. Bit of soap. Ooh.
See, there's blatantly
Some of
obvious
them are tough,
ones,
some of
and
them
then
are
there's
tough.
some that aren't.
Well, yeah, it's got to be an array, doesn't it?
I'm not sure about them. Bakery stuff. Oh, that might be yes too.
Fair enough. I'm gonna say,
Cool.
I'm gonna feel stupid. But
Yep. You happy?
I'd say so.
That's pasta.
Yeah, see, I think that is. I should just put it all in there. I'm not sure about that.
Oh, well, I will say, you pretty much had that bang on. That doesn't contain palm oil. That
didn't.
doesn't.
And that didn't.
doesn't.
Oh, I was right.
So you did very well. Yep.
From
Well,
a quick.
there is 7 with and 3 without.
Yep.
But I'm afraid they're not all right.
Oh, of course.
Done that, but you've done quite well. I think that was about. You should have committed. You've done best today. 10 out of 10 at one stage. Yeah, only had to move 7, so that's not bad.
Fair
Well done,
enough.
buddy.
So, after our time on the street, it was then time to move back to Merrist Wood and speak to another specialist, Luke.
We were the necessary evil, or was it necessary? That's one of the
What do you
questions.
think? I'm meant to see what you think.
You know, historically, it was seen as an evil to me through social media, through the internet, through conversation, through my own research. And it wasn't until I had a student that started working for a charity that introduced the concept of sustainable palm oil and actually said it was more important to be using that because it made the product effective, it brought income into the country of origin, and consequently the way that they were looking at was that eventually the sustainable would overtake and it would put the other palm oil out of business. Doesn't seem to be the case though.
Yeah. So a few companies are branding their palm oil as sustainable.
But how do we know?
How do we know? Like, what level of sustainability do you have to reach before you can say it's sustainable?
That is the thing, because you can go onto the website, you can have a look at it, and everything you read is fantastic. But as we know with many other sectors of society, where's the evidence? So do we take them at face value? Do we take their word? I'm not sure. I mean, myself, at home, where possible, we use sustainable palm oil. If you go out for dinner, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible to look at it. I mean, I was going past a fish and chip shop the other day. I saw palm oil going in there as well. And when you look at some of those forests and how old they are, how established they are, with the biodiversity within them, it's not going to just come back overnight. I mean, here, for example, we raise money for Durrell, Jersey Zoo, for a project called Cans for Corridors. So for every 50 pence we raise, we can plant a tree, or Durrell can plant a tree to link up fragmented corridors of Brazilian rainforest. I mean, what is going to be the long-term goal? I mean, these forests are going to take a long time to regenerate as well, and that's going to be the issue. And meantime, as more and more is being felled, you've got species like, the Sumatran orangutan, you've got the Sumatran rhinoceros, critically endangered. I mean, is it even going to have a big enough gene pool to even survive? That's something we've got to think about. And they're just the large kind of like keystone species.
Yeah.
And then beyond them, there's primates galore, carnivores, everything through at all of your trophic levels. And those animals, many of those, we don't even know their numbers. And some of those species may not have even been discovered yet as well. So what else are we going to be losing along with the biodiversity?
So we've learnt a lot from our 2 specialists at Merrist Wood and from people on the street. But people need to do more. We can all do more and hopefully save the precious rainforests that we have, and hopefully the planet as well.